So just so you know. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Emory and Henry's softball field. My name is Brent Treesh, and I'll be on the call for you today as the Emory and Henry softball team hosts Roanoke College, a battle of two undefeated teams right now in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. There are currently only three undefeated teams in total. So two of them playing right now, so that will be something that will be changing after this doubleheader. So coming up to bat for Roanoke College here in the top of the first is going to be Rebecca Hensley. The left-hander steps in. Cam Durr on the mound for Emory and Henry, and the first pitch is fouled back. So your count will go to 0-1. Pitch two is popped off the handle of the bat, easily caught by Stedman at third base. So that will be out number one here in the top of the first. Stepping into the box is going to be number 3, the right fielder, Brooke Trapezzano. Ball outside. Trapezzano is one of the senior leaders here for Roanoke. 13 runs scored on the season, 12 hits, including a double, a triple, 8 RBIs, batting .353. So one of the spark plugs here for the Maroons offense. Looking at a 1-0 count. It's going to be high. And I ducked because it was right at my face where I'm lined up right now. And I think Cam Durr was just making sure that I'm awake and ready for this game. Count will be 2-0 at this point. They're trying to establish that outside plate. Misses wide, so that'll be 3-0 for the count. Here with 1 out in the top of the first. Always a little bit of a feeling out period here in the first inning or so as the pitcher tries to understand where that strike zone really is going to be for the umpire behind the plate. And it's going to be right there as strike 1 on the off-speed pitch. If you've been watching Cam Durr most of this year, she will tell you that rise ball is going to be one of the most important pitches that you'll see this afternoon. Really has to be able to establish that high and up and in the zone and be able to get batters to go up chasing it as she catches the outside corner there. So we are going to be full at 3-2 on the count. So nice job by Durr to battle back in this at-bat against Trapezzano. Full count. Fouled back over the visiting dugout. Cam Durr is 7-0 on the season with 5 complete games. Of course, Cam known as a power pitcher, 66 strikeouts on the season, 42 walks. So that kind of comes with it. I think Cam would tell you that this hasn't been her best control season, but still has worked her way to a perfect record on the year and a 3.98 ERA. The payoff pitch is going to be low and outside, so that will be ball 4. And there will now be a runner on first as we see the shortstop, number 21, Shannon Hester, come to the plate. So 1 out, and the infield on the corners comes in about a step or so here for Hester, who lays down the bunt foul, so that'll be strike 1. The catcher Silvas for Emory and Henry has shown the ability to get to those bunts whenever it's short. But, of course, great corner infielders in Varner and Stedman pick up so many of these little bunts. Does not show the bunt there, so swings away, and it'll be strike 2. So Durr well ahead in this at-bat against Hester for Roanoke College. 0-2 count right now. And this is where you see that rise ball and you see a strikeout take place. So 2 outs now for the Roanoke Maroons here in the top of the first. And that's what you want to see if you are an Emory and Henry fan, is seeing Durr getting ahead and being able to do the things that she does best And she'll be facing the cleanup catcher here, Rachel Serbal for Roanoke, and she will see strike one. So Durr seems to be settling in well here. Of course, those of you watching on the stream here are noticing number 2. So once again, Durr in the driver's seat, well ahead in the count with 2 outs here in the top of the first. Rise ball, strikeout. 2 Ks on the inning, 1 walk, no hits, no runs. So after the top part of the first inning, Emory Henry will come up to bat, tied at 0. Well, welcome back to the field here. Emory and Henry coming up here in the bottom of the first. The lineup in game number 1 is going to see Kendall Varner leading off for the Wasps. The rest of the lineup will be Anna Thomas, Alex Braun, Morgan Silvas, Allie Stedman, Kendall Hyatt, Emily Skaggs, Amanda Keppa, and Nicole Cox rounding it out. So Kendall Varner, who has batted in a lot of different places in the lineup in her years here at Emory and Henry, finds herself leading off here in this game against Roanoke. And pitch 1 is going to be a called strike. Pitching for Roanoke in this game 1 is going to be Jada Karnes. We're going to have a strike called on the outside corner. So 0-2 for Karnes, a good start against this very difficult opening lineup for Emory and Henry. Varner gets to the edge of the bat on it, flares it out to right field, but it's going to be tracked down and captured by Brooke Trapezzano for out number 1 here in the bottom of the first. So that'll bring up number 1, Anna Thomas, the center fielder.
Now batting the center fielder, number 1, Anna Thomas.
Thomas has done a little bit of time, of course, leading off a lot of her career here, but finds herself in the 2-hole and finds herself with a strike called on the first pitch. So 4 pitches, 4 strikes for Jada Karnes of Roanoke College. Showing some great control here at the early parts of this game. Karnes works it inside and fouled off, so it'll be 0-2. Anna Thomas does a nice job of just getting the bat on the ball, fouling things off, keeping bats alive, and that's what she's going to have to do here. 0-2, the count to her. See if Karnes tries to come back inside. Obviously going to try to work one of the corners. She goes out, and once again, Thomas gets a piece of it, so it'll remain 0-2. So Thomas in there battling, 0-2 on the count to her with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. That's going to be outside, so the first ball of the day for Jada Karnes. Karnes throws it inside, hit down the right field line, but a nice job by the first baseman for Roanoke College. That is Jordan DeFava, who does a nice job of captured it before it beats her down the line and tags the base, and so that'll be out number 2. So that'll bring up Alex Braun, the cleanup, the third hitter, for Emory and Henry. And she will swing and miss, strike 1. Alex Braun, of course, batting .587 on the season. Team high 20 RBIs, 4 home runs, 10 doubles, 27 hits on the season. That's such a large margin and such a strong start that we have some great hitters on this ball club, and the next highest Wasp hitter has 12 hits on the season. And Braun flares one to second base, but it's going to be captured and thrown over to first. So a 1-2-3 inning for Roanoke College. And we will move to the top of the second, where we remain scoreless. Well, while we have a few moments here between innings, I want to remind folks that if you're noticing a different jersey here for the Wasps, this is something special that they've been doing for a few years now. It's known as Celebrate Differences Day. It's sort of an expansion and a growth of what was Autism Awareness Day, something that's always been important to the Emory and Henry softball team, and they have expanded that, more inclusive of so many things out there in the world. Their kind of idea is to grow this and make this something that is a campus-wide celebration. And I know they have a Celebrate Differences Day that they are doing a field day tomorrow, where they'll have food out on the field and a bunch of different activities. So if you are a student listening to this broadcast, make sure you go out and celebrate that along with the Wasp. It's something that they work really hard on. I know Kendall Hyatt and Haley Mintz, both the student athletes here on the softball team, have worked really hard on that. So Celebrate Differences Day here, and that's something we should be doing more than just today, doing all the time. So a great thing. Service always been an important part of the Emory and Henry softball team, and they're showing it here today with Celebrate Differences Day. Well, here we are on the top of the second, and coming up to bat is going to be the pitcher, Jada Karnes. No designated player for Roanoke, so they bat their lineup. Karnes here in the cleanup and on the mound, and she faces a ball 1 and 2. So they're already behind 2-0. One of the things I like about Cam Durr, though, as a pitcher, is that she just doesn't let these counts bother her too much. She knows how to battle back. She comes back inside, just misses, 3-0 on the count. Of course, she'd rather, of course, be battling from ahead, but as we were talking about earlier in the game, that strikeout to walk ratio is not probably to the level that Cam wants it, but she still knows how to work her way out of innings and pick up the important wins. And so that'll be strike 1 there. A nice pitch. So 3-1 is the count. Beautiful day here at Emory and Henry. 72 degrees, sunny. The biggest worry you have to do is make sure that you reapply sunscreen in between the games here in this doubleheader. And that Karnes is going to hit one over the right into the second baseman. Bobbled just a bit, but picked up and thrown out to first base as Amanda Keppa saw the weird hop come up off of her glove, but she stayed with it and beat Karnes by about half a step for out number 1.
Now batting the third baseman, number 19, Michaela Austin.
So Michaela Austin, the third baseman, will be up to bat here in the top of the second. Durr comes back inside and misses. Kim loves working, especially the right-handed batters inside. Really likes to try to give herself some room on that outside for when she comes for those strikeout pitches. Off speed is a ball. So ball 2, 2-0 the count. Michaela Austin for Roanoke in the box right now. Foul back, 2-1. This one's hit to Keppa one more time. She cleans that one up pretty easily. Over to Varner, and that will be out number 2. Nice job of sliding to her right by Keppa as that ball was chopped up to a little bit, about waist level bounce, but she had no problems with that. So we've got 2 outs here in the top of the second. So that'll bring up Jordan DeFava, the third baseman, trying to get a runner on. Roanoke, of course, had a walk in the first and left that runner on base, and that one's going to be fouled straight back. So Durr finds herself ahead for the first time in this inning. 0-1 the count. Nice off-speed pitch just outside. Got her swinging though, so 0-2 the count here. So kind of your normal Cam Durr kind of start here. She is working some 0-2 counts, working some 2-0 counts. And doing pretty well in both here. See if she can put her away here. Goes high. That's going to be flied out to right field. Not going to be a problem. And that'll be a 1-2-3 as Emily Skaggs squeezes it. And the Wasps will come to the bottom half of the second, trying to get a run on the board. It'll be the cleanup hitter, Morgan Silvas, leading off the bottom of the second. Feels like a long time since the Wasps have been home. If you feel like you haven't seen them here on a stream, it's been 23 days since the Wasps last had a home game before today. And that's after starting the season off with 14 straight home games. Strike one as Silvas can't stop herself, so that'll be a 0-1 count. Just misses inside, so 1-1 the count. The Wasps are currently on a 3-game win streak. If you have not heard the news, a top 20 team ranked currently number 19 in the country. That ball is going to be fouled back over the home dugout, so it'll be a 1-2 as Jada Karnes of Roanoke is ahead in this count. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. That ball is way outside. 2-2 is the even count. Of course, the Wasps undefeated in ODAC play, but they've only completed 2 conference games to date. Of course, that sweep of Guilford on the road recently. That ball is going to be on the outside corner, and that will be a strikeout for Karnes, and that will be our first out. That was a nice curveball that came just across the far outside part of the plate. And that'll bring Allison Stedman to the plate, batting .343 on the season with 3 home runs. Stedman swings and misses on the first. Of course, if you follow Emory and Henry Athletics on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, if you don't, I strongly urge it, but if you did, you were likely to have seen a very well done and very entertaining Allison Stedman mic'd up video that was just released yesterday. Off speed is going to be strike number 2. If you come to many games, you're always going to hear Allison Stedman's voice, a very entertaining and vocal part of every Emory and Henry home game, and she did not disappoint in her mic'd up segment. So if you have not seen that, you can go to all the various different social media outlets for Emory and Henry Athletics and check that out. Well, 0-2 the count here to Stedman. That's going to be high and outside as the catcher tried to frame that one up, but a little bit too much outside, so 1-2 the count. Kendall Hyatt in the on-deck circle right now for the Wasps with 1 out here. 1-2 the count. And Stedman's going to flare it out to center field, but a nice job of coming up and getting it by Emma Eccles of Roanoke. So that will be out number 2. And that will bring up Kendall Hyatt, the shortstop. And as we mentioned, one of the leaders, of course, here of the celebration that we're having today. Be celebrating differences. Fouled back. 0-1's going to be the count. So good, two good offensive teams here playing this afternoon, but also 2 teams with well-established pitchers. So I don't think that we'll stay scoreless for long, but I do think that it'll take a moment or 2 for the teams to figure some things out. And then I expect a little bit of an explosion. In fact, if you looked at Roanoke's last few games, they have, in a stretch of 6 games, which they're on a 6-game winning streak, they've scored 62 runs and only given up 4. So we know they can score. We know we can score. Hyatt's going to chop it over to the shortstop. Nice stop on her knees in the dirt, but Hyatt beats it out down to first base. So a nice play by Shannon Hester, but Kendall Hyatt with the infield base hit with 2 outs gives the Wasps their first runner of this afternoon. So that'll bring up the right fielder, Emily Skaggs, who's having a nice season, batting .355 with 11 RBI and 2 home runs. High and inside, that's going to be ball 1. The Wasps have really had some success with 2 outs this season. They have shown the ability to get some runs across the board. Good speed with Kendall Hyatt over there on first base. And that's going to be off the handle again, flared over there, and the third baseman's going to call everyone off, catch the easy pop-up, and that will be the end of that. So after 2, we remain scoreless as Roanoke comes back up to bat. Well, it's going to be the second baseman, Mary Bostick, leading off the top of the third here for the Roanoke Maroons. High and outside, ball one. It's going to hit it out to right field. Wind's blowing out a little bit right there and causing Skaggs to have to drift over a little bit, but she has no problem with that for out number one.
Now batting the center fielder, number 22, Emma Eccles.
So Emma Eccles, the center fielder, will come up to bat next. Low and outside. Durr does a little field work there with her landing foot. Misses low again. They're obviously trying to keep the ball down here a little bit against Eccles. The lefty standing at about the center of the box. There comes up high. Eccles tries to pull the bat back, but it catches a corner of it, fouls it back for strike one. Outside. So ball number three. So 3-1 here. Eccles will, of course, have the green light, be looking for something, a fastball. Obviously knows that rise ball is going to be somewhere around here. Swings and misses, even when you know it's coming, still tough to hit. So Durr battles back to a full count. As Eccles just seems surprised at the speed of Durr. Durr comes right back to it, strikes her out. Nice job right there, and that shows a lot of senior confidence. Just to go back-to-back heaters, throws those rise balls and gets her to go, swinging on two. So 2 outs quickly here in the top of the third. So back up to the top of the order. Rebecca Hensley sees ball number one. Hensley, as we mentioned, one of the leading hitters on this Roanoke College Maroons team, as another ball runs it to 2-0. Hensley batting .519 on the season with 14 hits, and more importantly, when she gets a hit, she scores on 13 different times this season. And finally, Durr catches that low strike and picks up a 2-1 count here with 2 outs in the top of the third. Off the handle, Stedman goes towards the fence, has some room, and does not get it. Just runs out of just space over there on the dugout side of third base. So just a strike that evens it up at 2-2. So Hensley a second chance here as she kind of did a check swing there and almost fouled out. Durr off speed, little grounder over to Varner with no problem. Fair, and it's going to be the end of the at-bat. And so everyone looks a little bit confused, not sure if it was fair or foul, but it was fair, and that is the end of the top of the third. So after 2.5, we are still scoreless. It'll be Amanda Keppa, the second baseman, leading off the bottom half here of the third inning for Emory and Henry. As you can hear through my microphone, the wind picking up a little bit as Keppa swings and misses, strike one. So Jada Karnes doing a nice job of getting ahead in these counts against this really strong Emory and Henry team. Keppa swings and misses, strike two. On the season, the Emory and Henry Wasps batting .326. Offense has been there most of the year. Keppa here trying to find her way on base in this 0-2 count. Swings and misses, so that'll be out number one. And that'll bring up Nicole Cox, the left fielder, batting ninth this afternoon. Nicole so much is one of those people that you can really put her about any place in the lineup. She's batted leadoff and is now batting here in the 9-hole. But one of those people that can be a spark plug, a great slap hitter, has the ability to just find her way on the base. She puts the bunt down and goes foul. But Cox is one of those people that can also pull back on that bunt and slap it over the top of you by bouncing it over the top of your head. And she can also hit it over the top of the head. I mean, I see the outfield playing up right now. And we have known Nicole to be able to pull back and just dink it over the top. And a strike is called right across the letters on the outside of the plate. So 0-2 here to Cox. Defense kind of stays where it is, playing up a little bit. A little bit of a split grip here by Cox. Swings and fouls it off the corner of the bat down the third base line, so it'll remain 0-2. Cox down 0-2 here to Karnes. High, good eye by Nicole to lay off that one. Coach Forrester down the third base line and giving Cox some encouragement here as she's down 1-2 here in this count. Nicole swings and misses for the second strikeout of this inning. So back to the top of the order we go, and that's where we will find Kendall Varner. The first baseman takes a deep breath as she climbs into the box. Unlike some hitters, Kendall tends to stay about mid to back part of the box. It, of course, opens up that outside corner where you see strike one taking place. But if you make a mistake trying to go on that corner and it comes into the middle part of the plate, Varner will take that over the fence. So 0-1 the count to Varner. Outside again, and Karnes just showing that she can really establish that outside. So the Wasps hitters are going to have to adjust to that outside pitch because she seems to have the line right now. So Karnes has that 0-2 count. Varner gets it off the spot, back to Karnes, who throws it over the top of the first baseman, and Varner will go off to second base, sliding down into the dirt. So the Wasps get a gift with an overthrow from the pitcher to first base. And so all of a sudden, what looked like the end of the inning now has a runner in scoring position with Anna Thomas stepping up to the plate. So a mistake and an error there on the pitcher. And so Roanoke College will have Rachel Serbal, the catcher, come out and talk to Karnes and just to make sure that everything is okay. It was just a slow roller, easy play, and just one of those times that sometimes pitchers just rush that throw, and it seemed to be that's what happened, and she threw it over the first baseman. So all of a sudden, Varner's on second, Anna Thomas in the box, and the Wasps have a runner in scoring position. That's going to be a strike call. That low outside corner pitch by Karnes. Thomas swings and misses on the low inside pitch. So 0-2 is the count to Anna Thomas. So nice job by Karnes for battling back after the throwing error. High and outside, so that'll be ball number 1. And that's a tough one to lay off because it is near the strike zone. So nice pitch by Karnes to make Thomas at least think about whether or not to swing on that one. But that is not a pitch you want to try to chop at. Off the bat, over, scooped up by the third baseman, quickly over to first, and a nice play as that ball looked like it had a chance to squeeze between the third baseman and shortstop. But one error, no hits, one left on, and after 3, we remain scoreless. Well, Brooke Trapezzano will lead off the top of the 4th here for the Maroons. Trapezzano lays off the high pitch for ball number 1. Trapezzano with a walk earlier in the game. She sees another ball. So 2-0 quickly for Trapezzano, who would not mind adding another walk to her repertoire here, any way to get on base, because right now these two powerful offensive teams have not been able to find a way to get a runner across the plate. We've only seen one runner on second to this point. And that'll be ball 3. Durr, 3 strikeouts on the afternoon already, 1 walk. Make that 2 to the same person. And so Roanoke has their leadoff hitter on base here in the top of the 4th.
Shortstop, number 21, Shannon Hester.
So Shannon Hester, the shortstop, will come to bat. So still no hits from Durr, but she has allowed another base runner here as she misses high. high and out of the grasp of Silvas, and that will be a pass ball, and the runner will move to second. So Trapezzano now stands in scoring position. And the Wasp dugout is going to come out and have a talk here just to make sure that everybody is on the same page. As Nicole Poor comes out to talk to Cam Durr and Morgan Silvas just to make sure she's understanding stuff and making sure that they're all on the same line here. But again, very senior ball club here. Not a club that seems to panic too much when runners get on in scoring position, knowing that they have a very solid defense, a very strong strikeout pitcher, and the senior leadership here of Cam Durr. She just seems to find a way to battle out of these situations. The ball's hit in between the gap, out to right field. The runner is going to come around third. It's going to hold up, though, as it was bobbled a little bit out in right field. But Emily Skaggs did a nice job of staying with it and getting the ball in quickly, and a nice strike to the home plate. So stops the run, but we now have runners on first and third.
Now batting the catcher, number 10, Rachel Serbal.
As Rachel Serbal comes to the plate, so no outs and runners on the corner. The Wasps are going to have to figure out a way to minimize damage here. There comes to the plate, misses high. In the dirt for ball two. So Durr already 2-0 the count here. That ball will be fouled back straight behind our heads. So that will be the first strike of this at bat. So 2-1 the count here. The good thing is with a pitcher like Durr is that she can find her way to get some of these strikeouts and keep those runners not moving. Ball is high, runner is going to second, but they throw to the shortstop, just trying to make sure that the runner stays on third. And a successful steal there by the Roanoke Maroons gives them runners now on second and third with a 2-1 count. That's 3-1 count, excuse me. Big pitch here. Fouled over the home dugout, and the count will go to full. So Durr's got to be smart here. You've got an open base over there on first. You don't want to give her anything to drive here. So you'd love to see her throw that rise ball and just see if she can get her chasing a little. She goes low. It's a hit out to right field where Skaggs is, and she gets it in play. We're going to have a play at the plate. Slides in, and she's out down to third, and she is safe. But the runner is called out at home plate.
There is a way. She out. Get her out.
The umpire shows that she tagged her as she went by.
Let's go.
Great throw from right field, and a nice job by Morgan Silvas. The throw was a little high. I mean, a great throw, but a great tag by Silvas. And the Roanoke coach on third base does not agree with it, but the out will remain. So 2 outs on the double play there. I'm glad Joe Matthews has to score this because I don't even know how you score that double play. But 2 outs all of a sudden. Runner still on third base. And that'll bring up the pitcher, Jada Karnes. So Karnes trying to see if she can salvage something out of these runners. Karnes fouls it back, so Durr is ahead in the count, 0-1. Durr takes a deep breath. Sometimes you just have to process what just happened, but still has a runner in scoring position here that she's got to deal with Karnes, a good bat up at the plate right now. She holds back and doesn't swing, so the count will go to 1-1. And that was a very serious-looking face by Karnes, as she knows this is a big moment early in this game here in the fourth. Cam Durr comes to the plate, throws off speed and high and outside. So 2-1. There comes, and it's going to be fouled back over first base. So 2-2 is the count. So another big moment here. We've had a couple here in this top of the fourth, but this is probably the biggest of them all. 2-2. The count, swing and the miss, strikeout, pump of the fist by Cam Durr. And that's where that senior leadership finds a way to pitch out of the second and third runners. And all of a sudden, Emory and Henry feels like they have some momentum, and we'll see if they can carry it over into the bottom half of the inning when they come up to bat. Well, you definitely feel like the momentum changed there with the great throw and double play to get out of that inning, and all of a sudden, the Wasps feel like they have some confidence going right now, and Alex Braun, one of the best hitters in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, will step into the box. Braun hit sort of a soft shot to second base for her one at-bat. So she is 0 for 1 on the afternoon. Wind blowing out to left field a little bit here today. Braun holds up and tries to check her swing, but that's going to be strike number 1. Wasps trying to get some dancing mojo going here in the bottom of the fourth. Braun fouls it off for 0-2. And Karnes of Roanoke, really, I can't say it enough, has done such a nice job of just staying away from the Emory hitters. It's hard to hit that ball strong and out of the park when you're painting the outside corner. So the Wasps hitters are going to have to adjust a little bit to living outside. And Karnes goes off speed for ball number 1 there. Nice job of seeing it by Alex Braun. So 1-2 the count here at the bottom of the fourth. Braun flares it out to right field, and it drops in for a base hit. So just like Roanoke College in the top part of this inning, Emory and Henry starts the inning off with their first base runner of this inning, and they will have a runner on first in Alex Braun, who has nice speed, and Morgan Silvas will step into the box. #28th hit on the season for Alex Braun is a team high, so she stands on first as Morgan Silvas with that great play at home plate for the tag out. Comes in, and she looks at ball number 1. And it's something about, softball and these bat and ball sports where when you make one of those great plays out in the field and you get a chance to come up and hit the next inning, you carry a little of that mojo. So we'll see if Morgan can do that here as she looks at ball 2. As much as Morgan would love to drive one here, she'll be just as happy to trot down to first base on 4 balls. She's already ahead 2-0 here against Karnes. Allie Stedman on deck for the Wasps. Silvas looks at the high pitch, so 3-0. So a meeting at the mound here to make sure, of course, a strong hitter here as your cleanup hitter Silvas is obviously a good bat, and you want to make sure that you don't get too cute here trying to get that strike. 0-0 in the 4th here. You don't want to make a mistake, and one swing can all of a sudden change this game. So Karnes is going to want to try to throw a strike, but not anything too much powerful, and that's going to be right down center lane for strike number 1. Silva's taking the entire time there. Don't expect that again, as Silvas will be looking for something to drive here. As she flares it out to right field, the wind drifts it back, but a nice job by a Roanoke defender to get over there. Brooke Trapezzano, that wind, as I said, is blowing kind of from right to left, and you're hitting it into the wind, and that ball looks like it wants to go further to the right, and it drifts back left at the end, and Trapezzano played it really well. So Stedman's going to step up here. Braun still remains at first base after her leadoff hit. And Stedman will see strike 1 there on the inside part of the plate. So we're seeing 2 really well-established pitchers being able to stay strong after letting something happen, whether it's a walk or a hit. Does not seem to be, and is just still pitching her game. Just misses barely inside there, though. That looked close, but that will drive the count to 1-1 with 1 out here in the bottom half of the 4th. That's going to be just outside. That ball has been a fraction more inside, and that would have been a strike, but just misses. So Stedman gets ahead 2-1 here on the count. Foul back. Caught by the catcher, so that's going to be strike number 2. So now officially the count is 2-2. Sorry about, I'm trying to do the stats on the live stream here as well as do the call, so occasionally I get caught up in the game. But 2-2 is the correct count here with 1 out in the bottom half of the 4th. And high and outside means we're going to go full. So Braun's going to be paying close attention here, and any sound of a bat is going to be trying to get a jump, a base hit anywhere. It will likely get Braun over to third. Swing and hit down to the shortstop. Braun goes over to second, slides in, breaks up the double play, and Stedman will get down to first, but that will be the second out of the inning. But nice job by Braun. And Stedman all of a sudden looks up, and no one's paying attention, and she steals second base. Karnes, the pitcher for Roanoke, looking around, but nice heads-up play there by Stedman as she looked up, and nobody was standing near second base. So she said, I should go stand there. So she's on second base in scoring position. The second time the Wasps have seen a runner on second base. And that'll bring up Kendall Hyatt, who swings and misses. So 0-1 the count here with 2 outs, and a runner now on second on the fielder's choice and steal. down in the dirt, and the ball gets loose, but that's going to send Sedman over towards third, and she slides in safely with a great slide around the tag. A nice job of her beating the tag there of Michaela Austin, and an actual pretty good throw down there by Rachel Serbal, the catcher for Roanoke. But all of a sudden, Allie Stedman has stolen 2 bases, and now she is on third base with Kendall Hyatt facing a 1-1 count, and the Roanoke coach is going to call his infield out here and just have a few words. We'll be back in just a moment. So Kendall Hyatt steps back into the box, 1-1 count here, 2 outs, runner on third. And that is going to be an off-speed pitch, a nice strike call there. So 1-2 is going to be the count. So 1-2 the count here, 2 outs, runner on third. And this is probably the biggest pitch of the game so far for Karnes as she tries to escape this inning with no runs. And Hyatt does a nice job of getting just a bit of it to foul it back, so the count remains 1-2. The corner's playing about a step or 2 in. Second base and shortstop playing back just a little bit here. And a strike 3 called there. And that looked like it was outside. I think Hyatt pulled back, but it must have caught a corner of the plate. So that is 3 outs, and that's the end of the 4th. We remain scoreless, and we'll be back. So we go to the top of the 5th here, still scoreless here at Emory and Henry. This battle of unbeatens. So Michaela Austin, the third baseman, will be up first here for the Roanoke Maroons. Both teams, of course, undefeated in the ODAC. Roanoke has played a few games, so has Emory and Henry. We're still relatively early in the ODAC season. But both teams battling for that top spot, along with, of course, Virginia Wesleyan. Ball's hit towards second base just outside the grip, and that will be a base hit. And so we're starting to see the bats warm up a little bit. We still haven't probably seen a hard hit, but we are starting to see runners getting on base early in the innings. So both teams are going to have to stay strong here as we may have a pinch runner here. It's a little bit different here. Of course, here at Emory-Henry, we have a little bit more of a broadcast setup than a lot of the other schools in the ODAC, and a lot of times the umpire actually looks back to us to give us these things and then realizes that we're doing a broadcast and that sports information is just about 10 feet to our right. But it will be a pinch runner coming in. It's going to be number 2, Morgan Clark, the freshman from Sperryville, Virginia, is going to be running now on first. And that Durr is going to hit the batter as Emma Eccles is hit by the pitch right on the leg. So that'll be a runner now on first and second. The umpire checks on the batter to make sure she's okay. Coach Forrester has a question. I think it might be a question about as she squared around. I couldn't quite catch what he was asking about, but the home plate umpire will go out and call in the rest of the umpiring crew and have a short discussion about it. But unless something changes, they're going to say no, nothing unusual happened there. It is a hit batter. So Durr hits her first batter of this afternoon. And now Roanoke College has another inning with a couple of runners on and no outs. Durr and the Wasp defense was able to get out of it last time with a little magic, and they're going to need some more of that here. And high is going to be the first pitch to the leadoff batter for Roanoke College, which is, Mary Bostic up right now. And it was Jordan DeFava who actually got hit by the pitch, but that ball is going to be flared out to right field. Nobody going anywhere, so one out. Now it will be the
Now batting the center fielder, number 22, Emma Eccles.
So Emma Eccles, the center fielder, will now come up. One out here, and runners on first and second. Strike one is going to be the call. Eccles swings and misses. One of the strikeout victims of Durr already on this afternoon, and Durr ahead again 0-2. Durr works the outside of the plate and gets her for strike number 3. So that'll be out number 2. And back to the top of the order we go. And the left fielder, Rebecca Hensley, really probably the best offensive hitter for the Maroons. .519 on the season. She needs one here, and she gets hit by the pitch, but it hit the face guard. We heard a little bit of a different noise there. It was hard to gather what it was, but it was the face guard. I couldn't tell if it was maybe a part of the bat or what, but it did hit the face guard. So Durr has hit 2 batters this inning. So Brooke Trapezzano is now going to come up with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And sometimes it's actually a little scary how Durr reacts after she hits a batter. It just doesn't really impact her a whole lot. Obviously, she's a power pitcher, and those things are going to happen. Hard hit ball to Kendall Hyatt, but she stabs it for out number 3. So the Wasps battle with bases loaded and hold them to no runs. So 1 hit, no errors, 3 runners left on, and we're heading to the bottom half of the 5th, still scoreless.
fielder number 4, Emily Skaggs.
So Emily Skaggs, the right fielder, who's had a really great defensive game so far, trying to add some offense here in the bottom part of the fifth, as both teams have started to get their offense going a little bit. And swing and a foul tip, strike one. Swing and a miss on that outside part of the plate that has just been so dominant for Karnes for strike two. You really have to keep your body over the ball when that ball is going towards that outside of the plate and just sort of drive it out to right and try to force the urge to pull up into the left, and that's how you swing and miss. Off speed, and strike three is the count. And a sort of a slow strike out call there, but strike three is a call, so that is the first out of the inning. So Amanda Keppa will be your batter here. Nicole Cox on deck. Keppa looks at a called strike one. Keppa looks at strike two, as Karnes took a little bit off of that one. Catches it just below the letters for strike two. So 0-2 with one out here to Keppa. Swings and hits it towards the first baseman, who just knocks it down and does a nice job of tagging first base from her knees for out number two. So the Wasp will look to rally on two with the left fielder, Nicole Cox. It's Cox then the top of the order. And this is why you love having someone like Nicole in this spot here, as she can try to manufacture her way on the base. This one off the corner, just a lazy dribbler down the first. Tag and out. So the Wasp 1, 2, 3, no hits here in the bottom of the fifth. And we head to the top of the sixth, and we remain scoreless. So it'll be Shannon Hester leading off the top of the sixth. And this is sort of a checkpoint moment for Cam Durr, hitting 2 batters in that last inning. If she's going to have any kind of lingering hangover from that, as she works the outside part of the plate and misses high for the ball. Durr has 5 complete games out of her 7 this year. That ball is fouled back out of play, so 1-1 is the count. And Cam really is one of the toughest competitors out there. A very fiery part of this Emory Henry squad. Goes back out and high again, misses, and that's the area, and I think she's missing just literally by an inch or so. That's where Karnes for Roanoke has really been making her living, and that's what Durr is trying to do, but just missing. She goes back inside. That ball is going to be fouled almost into the dugout, and so that'll be strike 2. So the count will be 2-2 now. Durr goes back inside. Slow player down there to Allie Stedman, who bobbles the ball and can't come up with it. So for the 3rd inning in a row, Roanoke College has got a runner on base to start the inning. So that was going to be a tough play for Stedman, and she tried to come up with it quickly, just couldn't quite corral it. And so Shannon Hester will be on first base, and she will have a runner come in her place. That'll be number 5, Lauren Chappell. So Chappell comes in to run as Rachel Serbal, the catcher, comes back into the box here with a chance to move the runners along.
Running at first base for Roanoke, number 5, Lauren Chappell.
Now, we've seen Roanoke show the ability to want to try to move the runners along with a bunt or 2 just a little bit this game, but we'll see with Serbal here if they are interested in trying to move her along or if they're going to swing away. Looks like they're going to swing away, and Durr misses high for ball 1. Chappell stands on first base for the Maroons. Serbal at the plate. Durr pitching for the Wasps. Off speed, strike 1. So 1-1. They put the bunt down this time. Stedman comes up, throws it over, and an easy out, but the runner does advance to second on the fielder's choice. But a great read there by Allie Stedman to come up and read that bunt. It was put down at the last moment there, and the runner advances to second, so the batter does her job, and the Wasps get their first out of the inning.
Now batting the pitcher, number 11, Jada Karnes.
So a runner on second with 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Ball is hit deep to left field, and that one is going to be off the fence, and one runner is going to score, and standing at second base is going to be Jada Karnes, the pitcher, helping herself, and that one hit about halfway up the fence. So Karnes with the RBI double gives us our first run of the game. And the Wasps might be lucky that that one didn't find its way out because it was hit hard. And the wind is blowing a little bit out, mostly right to left. But Karnes with a strong strike there. And all of a sudden, Roanoke has got our first run across the plate. Looks like Jada Henry will come in to pinch run for Karnes.
Pitch running at second base for Roanoke, number 20, Janae Henry.
And Michaela Austin will be the batter. So 1 out here in the top of the 6th. 1 run already across the plate on the Karnes double. And a called strike one at Michaela Austin. Low and inside. Wasps going to have to find their way out of this inning like they have a couple of times today. That's going to be a pass ball. The runner will advance to third on the wild pitch. So 2-1 the count now with a runner on third base. Ball 3. So Durr gonna have to be smart here with a 3-1 count and a runner on third. She throws the off-speed, nice pitch down right at the knees, strike 2. So the full spectrum of pitches now back in play here for Durr. 3-2 count. A little pop up to short, and that's going to be out. Number 2, nice job of working it inside and on the hands. So Durr escapes one more batter. So now 2 outs with a runner still on third. As Jordan DeFava comes to the plate. DeFava would love to find something in the grass here. Hits it out to right field. Skaggs goes back and makes the catch. So Emily Skaggs staying busy out in the right field. She drifts back, gets the play, and the Wasps escape, only allowing 1. So they'll move to the bottom part of the inning, trailing 1-0 to Roanoke College. So the Wasps are back to the top of the order here in the bottom part of the 6th inning. It's Kendall Varner for the Wasps. Varner swings and misses on strike 1. That off speed, I don't know how slow that's going, but that looks like it's in the air forever and gets the corner for strike 2. And that's that area of the plate that has been called consistently all afternoon. So Varner is going to be behind 0-2. Varner swings on that outside pitch, fouls it out to the right. Now, of course, this behind the plate camera that so many of you all are seeing right now is at a little bit of a different angle, so that ball may look even more outside, but I'm almost directly behind home plate, and I can tell you it is close. And so it is hard for these batters to let it go by. 0-2 the count to Varner. Comes back inside off the handle, fouled out of play, so 0-2 remains the count. Of course, Anna Thomas on deck here for the Wasps. A lot of good speed at the top part of the order here. Base runners always valuable. With this kind of speed, though, runs can move across the bases really quickly. Varner lets it go by outside. So Varner still behind 1-2 in the count. Inside, and you just don't know, and it was called a ball. So 2-2 is the count. That's the pitch for where we're sitting right now. I just can't quite see if it's inside or not. The umpire calls it inside, so 2-2 the count. That off speed again, and that is just a filthy pitch. Strike 3 for the first out of the inning, and it'll be Anna Thomas coming in here. So the Wasps not having much offensive success, so they might have to rely on maybe one swing, but that's all it takes to get this game back level. Inside to Anna Thomas is going to be ball 1. You feel like you really need Thomas to find her way on here somehow. Good bat of Braun in the on-deck circle. In the dirt, ball 2. So Jada Karnes battling here with Anna Thomas. Ball is fouled off the bat, out of play, so that'll be a 2-1 count. Thomas still ahead in this at bat. It's going to be inside, so 3-1 the count. So big moment here for Anna Thomas. Would love to drive something, but gonna have to make it be a strike here. Thomas hits it in between the second and first baseman. Weird hop, and that's gonna be a base hit for Anna Thomas. I don't know how they'll score that one, but that was a nasty hop as number 16, the second baseman, Mary Bostic, was there, but the ball just popped right over the top of her glove. So we needed a runner on base, and Anna Thomas manufactures that. And Alex Braun comes to the plate, 1 for 2 on the afternoon.
Now batting for the Wasps, the designated player number 14, Alex Braun.
She fouls it off to the right side. And when you watch her in person, I mean, there is just something about the confidence that you see in Alex Braun when she steps into the box. She just feels like she's seeing the ball so well. A lot of good at-bats. You don't see her waste many these days. That pitch is going to be inside. So 1-1 is the count here with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. Of course, playing 7. Anna Thomas, the runner on first for Emory and Henry. Alex Braun, the batter. She hits it hard, but right at the shortstop. Thomas tries to break it up. Braun gets down to first base in time, and she will be safe at first on the fielder's choice. Will bring us to 2 outs. But even there, Braun just hit the ball hard, but right up the middle, and the shortstop did a nice job of sliding over and almost turning 2. So I'm guessing we're going to see a pinch runner here for Braun, and we do. It's going to be Haley Mintz. So Morgan Silvas will be at bat here with 2 outs.
Now batting for Emory Henry, the catcher, number 24, Morgan Silva. Pinch running at first base, number 7, Haley Mintz.
So the freshman Silvas wants it go by, and that'll be ball number 1. Freshman up at plate, a senior in the on-deck circle, and Allie Stedman, and the catcher for Roanoke wants to call timeout. Not on the same page as Karnes here, so wanting to make sure that they've got all of their ducks in a row with here in 2 outs of the bottom of the 6th inning. Well, it is a beautiful day here in the Celebrate Our Differences celebration for the Emory Henry softball team. Of course, a field day going on for the students, so make sure that they pay attention and check that out tomorrow. Silvas hits it high into right field. Shouldn't be a problem, and that's going to be out number 3. So we're through 6, and it's a rare thing this season, but Emory Henry heads to the 7th, trailing 1-0. So it'll be Mary Bostic leading off the 7th here for the Maroons. There comes with strike 1. So if you're Durr here, you just need to do your job and try to get 3 quick ones here. Only leave that 1 on the board. Come with the off speed, and Bostic can't catch up and wait for that one, excuse me. So it'll be strike 2. And that's going to be a hit pitch. Obviously not what Durr was looking for there, but tried to work it inside. He just loses a little bit of control to it. So Bostic will escape that, and she will trot down to first base. Bostic going to make sure everything's okay there and walk it off, and the umpire will give her a moment here to make sure everything's okay. That is the 3rd hit batter of the afternoon by Durr. So the Maroons continuing to find ways to get the leadoff hitter on base here, especially in this second half of the first game, as Ingalls will be the batter now for the Maroons. She shows bunt, pulls back. And it is called a ball as Ingalls pulls back. A wild pitch there by Durr, and that moves the runner to second base. As Mary Bostic, who was hit in the first at-bat, seems to be okay enough that she makes her way down to second base on the stolen base, but the Roanoke coach comes over to talk to the umpire, and we'll see what the substitution is going to be here. And we're actually going to have a pinch hitter is what it looks like, as Maddie Colkin
pinch hitting for Roanoke, number 44, Maddie Colkin.
So Colkin comes in and pinch hits with a count of 2-0. With a runner on second. High is ball 3. And if you could imagine just being on the bench and all of a sudden having your number called, facing a 2-0 count, 3-0 count now. Inside will be ball 4. So it will be our second walk of the inning. And runners will now be on first and second with no outs. So the series of substitutions continues as Ingalls will now come back into the game. She was just pinch hit, and now she will go down and stand on first base and run. So Colkin came in and did her job. She watched 2 pitches, trotted down the first. Ingalls comes back in, so Ingalls will be on first base. Bostic on second, and it comes around to the top of the lineup, and Rebecca Hensley. Over the top of Hensley. She does a nice job of ducking underneath that one, so ball 1. So Durr is going to have to find some control here and pitch her way out of this one. She tries to work the outside, and it's low, so ball 2. So 2-0 the count here. Foul deep back over left field line, so that'll be a foul ball strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. Hensley looks at it. Strike is the call, so evened up at 2-2. And that outside of the plate has been the money spot. Both pitchers trying to work it out there as much as they can because the umpire has given them that corner. Up the middle to second. Oh, second flips to shortstop. Only gets the runner at second, though. But 1 out, and the runners are now on the corners as the Wasps couldn't quite turn it quick enough for 2. But they do get their first out of the inning. And coming up the plate will be Brooke Trapezzano. Trapezzano has pretty good speed, as we've seen, and anything on the ground will be tough to get her out. So it will be interesting to see if the Wasps will concede a run if a ball is hit on the ground in the infield or not. That ball goes outside. They fake the throw down to second as the runner moves over from first. And so now First base opens up, and runners are on second and third for Trapezzano. So the runners still don't have to go anywhere with the open first base. For Trapezzano, the batter, she fouls it back, so 1-1 will be our count. So 1-1 the count here with 2 runners on. Currently second and third base occupied with 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Trapezzano digs in. Durr looks in, comes to the plate, and a swing and a miss is strike 2. So Durr 1 more strike away from collecting the second out of the inning. Still only 1 run in this game coming in the 6th inning. Ball hit to the shortstop. Bad hop. Run will score. Another run is looking to come in. Cox throws home. A second run scores. Varner cuts it off. And standing at second base after 2 runs have scored is Trapezzano. So all of a sudden, Roanoke opens up a 3-0 lead. And that was a tough one for Hyatt as the ball was sort of hit tough up the middle, and she had to kind of dive to her right, and the ball hopped a little up on her and goes out to left field. So Roanoke, timely hit, gives them 2 more runs, and they lead 3-0 over the number 19 ranked Emory and Henry Wasp. Well, that'll bring up Rachel Serbal. Excuse me, that'll bring up Shannon Hester. Hester looks at strike 1. Hester has another opportunity here to drive in a run. Durr misses outside, so 1-1 is the count. The ball is chopped into left field. Cox goes back. Looks like another run's going to come as it gets past Cox. So 1 run scores. The hitter runs to second base. So that will be a double for Shannon Hester, and Roanoke opening it up here in the 7th inning. As that ball was hit on the infield but gets past Cox in left field. So the Wasps find themselves down by 4 here in the top of the 7th. And once again, that runner on second, 1 out, and another batter comes to the plate. This time it is Rachel Serbal, and she sees strike 1. That ball's in the dirt and gets past Silvas, and the runner will advance to third. And the Wasps are going to have to dig deep here to stop the surge of the Roanoke Maroons here in the 7th with 3 runs already in and only 1 out. That's going to be hit up the middle, and Hyatt can't get a glove on it, and that will score a run as Roanoke adds another run here in the 7th inning, as they open it up to a 5-0 lead. As Serbal didn't hit that super strong, but she got just enough of it to get over the glove of the shortstop, Kendall Hyatt. And so the Wasps find themselves in the rare situation of trailing by 5 runs. And that brings up the pitcher, Jada Karnes, whose last at-bat saw her drive one deep to left center. hitting about halfway up the fence, and she has a chance to help herself again. 1 RBI already on the afternoon. And Durr misses with the off speed. The throw down the first is no good. Runners back in safely, so 1-1 is the count. Durr goes up and just misses outside. So 2-1 is the count. Durr goes back up high again, misses. Throw down again to first by Silvas, and the runners safely back in at first. And the count rolls to 3-1. And Karnes has to like this opportunity. She would really like to find something in the zone. The swing and the miss, a nice off-speed outside pitch by Durr, runs the count full. I don't know if that's exactly the pitch Durr was trying to throw. She kind of shrugs her shoulders, but she'll take the swing and miss, strike 2. So full count here, goes in the dirt, and that'll be ball number 4 as Karnes heads to first base. And now there are runners on first and second. Still only 1 out here in the top of the 7th. And that'll bring up Michaela Austin, the third baseman. High and just outside for ball 1, and seems to really kind of be symbolic of the afternoon for Durr. She hasn't been too far off from most of the game, just barely missing that outside zone that both pitchers are trying to hit today. She goes up, and the swing is fouled back. So Austin misses it just barely, and we're at 1-1. Durr misses high again. So 2 balls and 1 strike. I haven't seen anybody warming up, so it is going to be Durr's game to finish here with runners on first and second and 1 out. The ball's hit up the middle. Durr fields her position well, throws over to Varner at first. Varner throws over to third to Stedman, but the runner is in safely. But the Wasps do pick up the second out of the inning. For the Maroons, though, they advance the runners from 1 base forward, so they now have runners on second and third with 2 outs and 4 runs already across. So Jordan DeFava comes up to plate and fouls it back on her first pitch. So that'll be strike 1. Durr asks for timeout as she has to try to wipe something out of her eye. So Silvas comes over to the dugout and gets a towel to take out for Durr to try to remove whatever's in her eye at this moment. But right now, so far in the 7th inning, the Roanoke Maroons have been able to get 4 runs across the plate. They currently have 2 outs and runners still on second and third here. And with that potent Wasp offense, although we haven't seen them strike yet today, you know, it could be any moment and they can get a rally going. So obviously the Maroons will take as many runs as they can get here as we're back to play. Durr, beautiful off-speed pitch, strike number 2. So 0-2 the count here to DeFava. Silvas gives Durr the call. They go inside, right back to Durr for the second time in a row. She throws over to Varner and gets the out. So the Wasps survive the 7th, giving up 4 runs, and they'll head to the last part of their inning, last part of this game, in the bottom of the 7th, trailing 5-0. Well, if you had to, if you're a Wasp fan and you're wondering who could we have come up that's a good rally starter, one of the most energetic spark plugs of the team, Allie Steadman is probably that player. So the third baseman will come up here in the bottom of the 7th with the Wasps trailing 5-0. So obviously at this point, trying to find any way to get on base against Karnes, who's thrown a gem of a game. And Karnes misses high for ball 1. Karnes' control so far on this afternoon has been impressive, really hitting all of her spots and not giving the Wasps much good to hit. And changing speeds just like that and hitting low for strike 1 is Jada Karnes of the Roanoke College Maroons. Steadman 1-1. That ball's fouled straight back, so 1-2. So Steadman behind in the count, 1-2. It's going to be fouled straight back. And our starting linebacker protecting the camera, but I'd like to kind of see him make a play there. That was his opportunity. That was just right at him, but showing speed to be elusive also. Again, congratulations to the men's football team. The season did not end the way they wanted to, of course, but a great game this past weekend. If you watched it, Steadman does a great job of fouling that one off, so the count remains 1-2. So Steadman's in there battling, still down 1-2 in the count here as we start the 7th inning. She just flares one over the first and second baseman, but nice job by number 16, Mary Bostic, of drifting over. That could have easily fallen in, but instead it is out number 1.
The shortstop, number 9, Kendall Hyatt.
So Kendall Hyatt comes up with 1 out. And just misses does Karnes there, so that'll be ball 1. So that's going to hit Hyatt, and so she will take first base. So the Roanoke coach is questioning whether or not the Hyatt was leaning over the plate or anything, but it was not from our perspective here. So Coach Mike Mitchell voices his displeasure, but that doesn't change anything. So Hyatt goes down to first. And Emily Skaggs, the right fielder who's played so well out in the field, comes up to bat here. So strike 1. So Skaggs' glove has been great today, but we need her bat to get hot here for a moment. As Hyatt's over there on first, and she does a nice job of laying on that one high and outside for ball 1. That's a nice pitch right there. Skaggs was obviously looking for something else, but that was right down center lane for strike 2. So now the count 1-2, and this is where we expect Karnes to do some of that either off speed or she has really been going for that outside corner. See if she tries to paint it one more time. She goes outside, misses a little bit, and that ball's going to be down, and that's going to be a fair ball, and Kendall Hyatt will scamper over to second, but she had to wait to make sure it was going to fall. But Emily Skaggs finds her way on, so the Wasps now have a little something going here with runners on first and second.
Now batting, the offensive player, number 12, Amanda Keppa.
And Amanda Keppa will now be up at bat with runners on first and second. And that's going to be inside ball 1. So the Wasps yet to get a run across the plate, but one of their better opportunities in this game is existing right now with runners on first and second. Amanda Keppa at bat, swings and misses, so 1-1 is now the count. The 5-0 lead here for Roanoke means they're not going to worry too much about these base runners right now. Just trying to find 2 more outs. Keppa on that tough off-speed pitch. The catcher tries to frame it, but a little high. So 2-1 is now your count. Nicole Cox on deck, and then around to the top of the order. Keppa hits it off the handle, and it goes foul down the first base line. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. The ball's hit up towards the shortstop. They'll go towards first base and get out number 2. The runners do advance, but it costs them 1 more out, and that's all they have left as they look to rally on 2. As Nicole Cox, the slapper, will step in, and the Roanoke infield comes together one more time. The play will be at first with the ball on the ground. Cox goes and gets some information from Coach Forster. But 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th. Cox lets the first pitch go, and there's that outside strike on the corner. So strike 1. Cox hits the ground ball to second, no problem, and Roanoke will close out game 1, giving the Wasps their first defeat in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. No runs on one hit there for the Wasps in the bottom of the 7th, and your final from game 1 is Roanoke 5, Emory and Henry 0.
Game 2 will begin in approximately 25 minutes.
Well, game 2 will be back here in about 25 minutes. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in a few moments. Well, welcome to game number 2. We're just a few moments away from the start of the latter half of this doubleheader. If you are just joining us, Roanoke College was victorious in game number 1 by a score of 5-0. And the Wasps looking to earn the split here as they bring Alex Braun to the mound here in game 2. The lineup for Roanoke College in game number 2 is going to be Rebecca Hensley leading off, Brooke Trapezzano, Shannon Hester, Rachel Serbal, Jordan DeFava, Michaela Austin, Mary Bostic, Kate Hoyle, and Emma Eccles, with Morgan Baumhart on the mound for Roanoke. For Emory and Henry, it's going to be Anna Thomas playing center field and leading off. It'll be Allie Stedman playing third base. Alex Braun, as we said, pitching. Morgan Silvas will remain behind the plate. Kendall Varner will be first base. Kendall Hyatt will be at shortstop. Emily Skaggs in right field. Daisy Jenkins will be our designated player here in game 2. Kinsey Ingo gets the start in left field. And in the flex position, playing second base, will be Haley Mintz. So some movement by Coach Forster here with his lineup, switching in Jenkins and Ingo and Mintz and moving the batting lineup around a little bit. We'll see if that can bring some mojo, but the Wasps will get us started here with Braun on the mound here in game 2 against Rebecca Hensley, the left fielder. That pitch is popped high in the sky. Haley Mintz waves everyone off and makes the catch for out number 1. So it'll bring up the right fielder, Brooke Trapezzano. Of course, if you are just catching an Emory and Henry softball game, two very different pitchers for Emory and Henry, as that ball is hit over the head of Kendall Varner and down for a base hit for Trapezzano. And so 2 pitches and 2 swings here by the Maroons, and they have a runner on first now with 1 out. And as I was mentioning about our pitching, you'll see a little bit of a difference, a power pitching style with Cam Durr, who we saw in game 1 for Emory and Henry. And game 2 is Alex Braun, who is more of a control pitcher and really moves the ball all across the plate. And there is a swinging strike 1.
Designated player number 21, Shannon Hester.
As the designated player, Shannon Hester, is the batter for the Maroons. So fouled down the third base line, and a nice move over there by Rachel Serbal as she jumps out of the way of that foul ball. So strike 2. And that's going to be in on the hands and fouled out of play. The count will remain 0-2. The off-speed pitch is just fouled away as Shannon Hester finds a bit of the ball and stays alive, 0-2. Brooke Trapezzano, the right fielder, on first base after her single here in the first. 1 out, high and outside, and that'll be ball 1. High and ball 2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. That ball is skied high out into left field. Drifting over is Ingo, and she makes the catch for out number 2. So the shortstop, Rachel Serbal, will come up to bat for the Maroons. Braun looks in, comes to the plate, inside corner, strike one. Braun moves it outside, throw down by the catcher, and safe in, sliding in first base. And just misses there, as Daisy Jenkins thought that one was a strike. The catcher for Emory Henry, but was up a little bit, so ball is the call. So 2-1 is now your count. That ball's chopped over to the left side. Ingo dives, the ball is down, and it's going to roll to the fence. That's going to score one. And looking for three, and in standing up is Rachel Serbal with the triple. And Roanoke took 6 innings, I believe, to score in the first game, not wasting any time here as they get their first run of the game, and they lead 1-0 as the ball slips past Ingo in left field. So Jordan DeFava all of a sudden steps in with a runner on third base. And the ball in the dirt is ball one. So for the second game in a row, a ball squeaks past in left field and gets to the fence and allows a run. A tomahawk chop again, this time down the left hill side. And that one will be foul. So we will have a count up at 1-1, but it seems like after game one and that offensive explosion towards the end, Roanoke comes in with a lot of confidence and swinging at a lot of pitches at this point. So 1-1 the count here. The ball's fouled straight back. So 1-2 for Braun. So Jordan DeFava, 1-2 count here. Runner is on third base. That's Rachel Serbal. Ball is hammered again to left field. That's going to be down for a single. So Serbal scores. DeFava goes to first. And just like that, Roanoke College adds another run and now leads 2-0. And Braun just missing a little bit too much over the plate. That ball was down, but nice job by DeFava to go down and get it and just drove it like a bullet into left field. So Michaela Austin, the third baseman, the number 6 hitter, comes in at this point. And strike one is called on her. So 2 outs, 2 runs already across the plate for the Maroons. Fouled straight back, so 0-2. So Braun is way ahead here. Good job of battling there by Michaela Austin as she fouls that one back. Count remains 0-2. And a swing and miss ball down thrown to first base, but strikeout for Braun to finish the inning, but not before the Roanoke College Maroons cross 2. And after the top of the first, they lead 2-0 with Emory Henry still to come up to bat. Well, we are not the only game in town right now. The men's baseball team is playing host to out-of-conference Maryville, Tennessee. Currently in the top of the ninth, the Wasps have an 8-3 lead. So the men's team being successful, and we'll see if the women on this side of the park can pick up a W of their own as Anna Thomas comes up to plate for the Wasps here in the bottom of the first. And Thomas watches the first pitch go by for strike one. The Wasps do move a lot of batters around. Thomas was batting second in the first game, now moves up to the top spot, a place where she spent a lot of her career. And a good swing there down the right field line. That's going to be extra bases, hits the bottom of the fence. Thomas goes in the second, sliding in. She's in for two. A good swing, probably the best we've seen of the day for the Wasps. And Anna Thomas gets the Wasps started with a double.
Now batting the third baseman, number 23, Allison Stedman.
So Allison Stedman moves up to the 2-hole here. And that ball is down, and ball one. You sort of feel like that's what the Wasps just needed to see. They needed to see a good hit. They needed to see something positive happen in it. It feels like any nerves they might have had starting the second game have kind of dissipated a little bit. Stedman hammers one down the left field line. That's going to be just foul. And that will be a long strike, but that was almost a foot away from some extra bases and an extra run. But a good swing there by Allie Stedman. As she saw that picture from Baumhart and drove it down the left field line, and it was probably no more than 10 inches foul down the left field line. So 1-1 is the count. And that ball's high and off the glove of the catcher, and that's going to bring Anna Thomas scampering over to third base. So always the best thing you can hope for, a wild pitch, a ball, and a runner moves over. So 2-1 is the count to Allie Stedman. Still no outs here in the first. There is strike two. And Baumhart has that pitch where she kind of comes across her body, so the ball has a little bit of a curve to it. And she catches the outside part of the plate there. So 2-2 is the count. Stedman stays alive, getting a piece of it. But Baumhart's windup is a little bit different. She comes kind of over the top of it instead of dropping it in from the top, which is more traditional. And so it kind of actually disguises the ball, and it's a little bit harder to pick up, but you have to wait for it just a split second more. And Stedman drives it into center, and drifting over is going to be a catch by the Roanoke defender, but not before Anna Thomas can tag up and score. And Emory and Henry gets their first run of the afternoon on a sacrifice fly from Allie Stedman. And the Wasps now trail 2-1. And that was a good at bat right there by Stedman. Not only did she get the run in, but she also hit the ball hard. I mean, those are two of the best hits we've seen from the Wasps. And so that's good to see for the entire team, especially someone like Alex Braun, who's been seeing the ball really well. Off speed is going to be high, ball one. One-0 count to Alex Braun, high and inside. It's going to be ball two. That's low and inside. 3 balls, no strikes. Both teams, of course, trying to figure out, where that umpire strike zone is. Everyone's got a slightly different one. And that's going to be right in the middle of it as a nice pitch there on 3-0. Brings it to 3-1. And off the end of the bat, but over to the shortstop for out number 2. So that brings up the offensive player, Morgan Silvas, who caught in game 1, bats here in game 2. 2 outs. She hits one straight placed over there on the same spot on shortstop. And just like Braun, she'll be out at first. But the Wasps get a run in the bottom of the first, and they trail 2-1. So it'll be Mary Bostic leading off here the top of the second for the Maroons, and she swings and misses, strike 1. Braun ahead in the count, 0-1. Evens it up 1-1 with that pitch high and outside. That ball is fouled down the third baseline, so it'll be strike 2. Always love to watch third base coaches trying to make plays. Pretty good one there by Coach Mitchell. Off speed. And Bostic does not bite. So that will bring it up to 2-2. High and outside will bring us full. As Braun tries to hold on here. She got ahead early. And Bostic has done a nice job of fighting it off and getting us back to full. And that ball is going to be skied high in the left field. Ingo is going to have no problem there. She calls for it, catches it, and that'll be out number 1.
Now batting the catcher, number 8, Kate Houle.
So it'll be Kate Houle, the catcher, stepping into the box for the Maroons. That ball is skied high. Allie Stedman puts her glove up to block the sun. She makes the catch with no problem, so that'll be out number 2. So 2 down quickly here. So the center fielder, Emma Eccles, will now step in with no runners on and 2 outs here in the top of the second. Ingalls looks at ball 1, swings at pitch number 2 for strike 1, so we're even at 1-1. 2 outs here in the top of the second, here in game 2. Swing and a miss by Ingles. So Braun ahead, 1-2. She goes off speed. Ingles does a nice job of getting just maybe a lace of the ball and fouls it back to stay alive. Braun liked that pitch, but it almost slipped by her. But Ingles does a nice job of getting just enough of it to get another chance. A nice cutter outside, but just Braun comes in with a little bit of high heat and gets Ingles to bite, strikes her out. And so after 1.5, it's Roanoke 2, Emory and Henry 1. Well, I fully apologize there, folks. The internet popped out on us for just a second. We'll catch you up on what you just missed. There was a triple down the right field line by Roanoke, which was later scored on a sacrifice fly. So currently, Roanoke College has added another run, so they lead 3-1 over Emory and Henry with 1 out here in the top of the third. Well, we're battling out here just like the Wasps are battling to try to keep our internet signal out here. Haley Mintz, what you've missed so far, is down on first base. There's no outs here in the bottom of the third. And Mintz takes off for second, slides in head first, and she is safe. So Kinsey Ingo is up, facing a 1-2 count right now. So no outs here in the bottom of the third. She checks her swing, gonna look down at third base, and no swing is the call. So a ground ball over to the shortstop will advance the runner. Mintz is looking for third base, and she is going to be tagged out. A double play there as Mintz tried to stretch that play from the shortstop who threw over to first, and Mintz tried to make it to third, and she is unsuccessful. So all of a sudden, there are now 2 outs and no more base runners here in the bottom of the third.
Now batting the center fielder, number 1, Anna Thomas.
So now 2 outs with Anna Thomas coming up to bat. And she hits it to left field, and that's going to be caught. Great play by the left fielder, Rebecca Hensley. She makes a diving catch to end the inning. So Emory and Henry comes up empty in the third, and they trail 4-1. So Michaela Austin leads off the top of the fourth here for Emory and Henry. Alex Braun still on the mound for Emory and Henry. Ball's hit skied into the hot air, and it's going to be Ingo calling for it out in left field, and that'll be out number 1. As Michaela Austin just gets underneath that one a little bit, and that'll be out number 1. That ball's flared. Haley Mintz drops back as she gets in position to make the play at second, so that'll be out number 2.
Number 8, Kate Hull.
So it'll be Kate Hull, the catcher, up third here as the Wasps try to kind of settle things down here. It's been a wild little bit of a broadcast, a wild little bit of a start here for game 2. But all of us are settling in a little bit here. So 2 outs, and that'll be strike 1. So 0-1, the count here in the top of the 4th. Braun comes to the plate, delivers, and fouled back. So that'll be strike number 2 to Katie Hull. Braun goes late, and it's chopped by Hull over to the first base line, but foul. So the count will remain 0-2. Off speed in the dirt will be ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes here with 2 outs. Fouled out of play. So 1 and 2 to Hull. So Alex Braun, 1 and 2 count. Pitch goes outside and just misses that corner. So 2 and 2 is the count. Ground ball to third base. Stedman cleanly fields it, throws over to Varner, and that'll be out number 3. So after 3.5, it's Roanoke College 4, Emory and Henry 1. Well, I'm going to be joined by a broadcast partner, Ty Spires. Ty, tell me a little bit about, you just came up from baseball. Tell me a little bit about what happened over there.
Yeah, so the Wasps were able to get the win over Maryville College. It was an 8-3 game. It was a great game for the Wasps, both defensively and offensively. We had the win for freshman Will Clark. He was able to get his first win of the year, and the Wasps were obviously able to put up 8, so they had a great day at the plate.
Well, what you missed here in game 1, the Wasps dropped the first game 5-0, and we currently are 4-1 here. Roanoke College has been finding some offense and some confidence and have jumped out to an early 4-1 lead. But the Wasps have looked better offensively after being shut out. So I think there's still hope for us as Allie Stedman steps in here in the bottom of the fourth. She takes pitch 1, and that's going to be high and outside for ball 1. So Stedman batting in the 2 spot for this game. Looking to get a spark for the Wasps. That's going to be low and in the dirt for ball 2.
And Britt, that 2-hole is something that you always want to put your 2-hole. Somebody who's just so consistent, is able to just put balls in play and situationally hit. And so Allie Stedman's the perfect person for that, and a great move by Tommy Forrester.
She's ahead in the count now, 3-0. So Stedman is going to be having to watch one go by here. It's going to have to be almost absolutely perfect for her to swing, but ahead in the count. So where she wants to be as she tries to get something going here for the Wasps in the 4th. It's on the outer portion of the plate for strike 1. Ty, do you really ever take a swing at that 3-0 pitch? I mean, it would have to be something amazing.
It's got to be one that you dream about. And there are coaches that every single time will call the take, and because it's just you get sick to your stomach if someone were to ground out on a 3-0 pitch.
Well, she had a good one to hit there, and Allie Stedman got under it just a bit and flies out to left field. But a 3-1 pitch, that's the kind of pitch you want her swinging at, and she just missed it.
Yeah, she got the pitch that she wanted right down the middle, a fastball, and she turned on it, put a great swing on it, just unfortunately didn't have the legs on that hit.
Well, the wind blowing out right to left. I don't know if you saw any home runs in your game. We've just seen one here, and it was in this second game. That ball was sky high and carried out. And there's a person that has some power. And on cue will be another home run, this time for the Wasps, as Alex Braun takes it deep to left center.
I was going to say you better knock on wood so no one does the opposite of a home run, but maybe you're our lucky charm. We got to get you talking about home runs more often.
Definitely not known for being the lucky charm, but I will be happy to see Alex Braun take one deep. But that's not actually all that unusual, because Braun has been killing the ball this year, and that's her 5th home run on the season, and is nearing 30 hits, I believe, on the year as well, well ahead of any other Wasp, and has just been so hot offensively. Well, Morgan Silvas will now come up. Bases are empty, of course, just one out here in the 4th. And Silvas hits one to the third baseman, who cleans it up, throws over to first base, and that'll be out number 2. Well, we're entering the Kendall section of our lineup as Kendall Varner comes to the plate with Kendall Hyatt in the hole. Varner still really looking to kind of get her back going this year. It's kind of been up and down and around in the lineup, but someone that is always capable of doing something big. She sees one low, and that's going to be ball 1. Ty, when you're a good hitter, what do you have to kind of keep telling yourself as you come up to the plate to try to turn it around a little bit for yourself?
I think that you kind of actually said it. You have to tell yourself that you are a good hitter. You know, sometimes that confidence can kind of wean when you're in a little bit of a hole, when you're in a little bit of a slump. But you just have to know that, you know, I actually am a good hitter. You know, I can do this. Don't do too much. Just put a good swing on a good pitch, and things will happen.
And Kendall Varner has a really good stroke, so, you know, it's just a matter of just getting it all in sync and believing here. 3-0 count here. And Kendall's a good one that you want to be able to stay hot for a lot of reasons. But you get her on the base path, and she's really a good one out there to run the bases for you.
Yeah, I mean, normally you see first baseman, especially in something like baseball. I know softball is a little different, but baseball, normally your first baseman is your big slugger. And definitely Kendall is that slugger, but she can also run the bases great. I mean, she's stealing bags and everything, so she's really able to do it, you know, in multiple assets of the game.
Yeah, she's facing a 3-1 count here, 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. We'll see if she can find her way on to those bases. She sees a good pitch, and she hits it, and that one's going to be gone as well. So another home run, this time by Kendall Varner, and the Wasps close the lead to 1. That's also Varner's 4th of the season. And you see a little smile from her, Ty, as she comes around third base, and that's what you want to see, because that means the confidence is growing a little bit.
And before this at-bat even starts, I'm going to talk about home runs, because every time we've talked about them, it's happened. So,
well, I mean, it's also you've joined us, so maybe you're the lucky charm.
You know what? I did bring my lucky rabbit's foot today. I wasn't sure if that was exactly it, but, it seems to be paying off.
Does anyone under the age of 40 know anything about Lucky Rabbit's feet?
I don't actually have one, but I understand the reference.
So we're going to have a new pitcher coming into the game for Roanoke College. It's actually going to be number 21, Shannon Hester. And Hester has been was the designated player previously, so she's coming in now to pitch, as the Wasps have closed the gap from 4-1 to 4-3 here in the bottom part of the 4th. And this is kind of what you expect out of this Emory Henry Ball Club. It's hard to believe they were shut out in the first game, but you had to believe it wasn't going to happen in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, this offense is so explosive that they're always one swing away from putting themselves back into a game. So it almost seems like a ticking time bomb. It's just a matter of time before they can, start to see the pitches that they want to see put together to good at-bats and make something special happen.
You see 2 home runs like that also, I think it just boosts everyone's confidence, because you feel like something's happening, and you step up to that bat with a little bit, more confidence and a little bit more belief that something can happen for you.
Yeah, you say, hey, it's my turn. Pass the bat to me. I'm ready to go.
Well, the second part of the Kendall trap here is Kendall Hyatt. The shortstop steps into the box here with a 4-3 lead by Roanoke. She sees one pitch, and it's a ball. So that'll be ball 1 to Kendall Hyatt. And all of a sudden, we're starting to hear a little bit more cheering from the Emory Henry dugout, which is nice to hear. That ball will be fouled away behind home plate, so 1-1.
And that energy, it just adds. And it adds to your team, but it also can sometimes even detract from the other team. When the momentum swings so far in one direction, it's conveniently errors start happening on the other side. So we hope to see that cheering from the Wasps can make an impact on both teams. And
if you're a sports fan, I mean, here at the ballpark, you literally can feel the change in momentum right now. I think Roanoke still believes that they can win this ball game. I absolutely think that they still have some confidence, but Emory Henry is gaining some beliefs that they too can win this ball game, as that pitch held back is going to be a ball, so it'll be 2-1, I believe. So Kendall Hyatt in the plate, sees it just outside, so that'll be ball 3. So 3-1's the count.
And those high, I guess it was a ball, but those high pitches are so hard to let go, because those are the balls that if you can get a hold of and you get your hands up, those are the balls that go out. So great discipline by Kendall Hyatt. Unfortunately, she watches one right there, but a great at bat. She took it deep, got it to a full count. And just great at-bats all around for the Wasps.
Yeah, I apologize for having the count wrong there, but it was a 3-2 count, and she struck out there to finish the inning. But the Wasps, more importantly, Ty, add 2 more. So after 4, they trail 4-3.
Yeah, let's go.
So we start the top of the 5th inning. It's Roanoke College 4, Emory Henry 3. And Ty, I want to talk to you just a little bit as a former baseball player and hitter yourself. Here we are in game 2. We saw just a pitch miss just outside. In game 1, they were calling that quite a bit. How hard is it for the batter to lay off and understand that this is a different umpire?
Yeah, I mean, every umpire is going to have a different zone, whether it's, tall, fat, short, narrow. Everyone's different. And, you're taught from an early age that the zone is from your knees to the letters. It's the plate width. But there's so many different umpires. Someone might give you half a ball out. Someone might give you 2 balls out. They might give you not even the black. So that change is so different in switching umpires and being able to play with the zone that's given, not the zone that's in your head, I guess. That's, at the end of the day, that's the zone that's going to be played with. So that's something that the adjustment has to be made, and something that obviously Kendall Hyatt made there with that outside taking ball.
Emma Eccles, the leadoff hitter in the top of the 5th for the Maroons, and she's already behind 0-2 in the count. And Eccles just kind of waves at it, and so strikeout for Alex Braun for out number 1. And Eccles, sometimes hitters just have a hard time, not seeing the ball that well that day, and I feel like she's waved at a few today. But 1 out for the Wasp here to start the 5th. That brings us to the top, and Rebecca Hensley, who fouls one over the visiting dugout for strike 1. A 5'11" outfielder, not something you see in softball all that much in the D3 ranks, but that's what she is. She flails one out to left field, but Enzo drifts over and gets out number 2. So that'll bring up Brooke Trapezzano, the right fielder.
Right fielder number 3, Brooke Trapezzano.
And Alex Braun seems to be settling down here a bit in the 5th inning.
Yeah, it definitely shows maturity in a pitcher where they can kind of get teed off a little bit early. And there's a ball hit in the outfield, caught by Anna Thomas for the final out of the inning. But, yeah, it just shows the maturity of Alex. Obviously, she's a senior. Someone who can get kind of hit around a little bit early, but doesn't, has the confidence in her stuff that can settle back down, say, okay, that's over with, flush it, let's go to work.
Alex Braun does a nice job of getting the Wasps out of the top of the 5th. No runs given up, so the Wasps will come to the bottom half, trailing 4-3. Well, leading off the bottom of the 5th is the right fielder, Emily Skaggs. I know I've mentioned it a few times, but it's been really crucial in right field, playing some great defense today for us. And the offense starting to catch up as well. So we'll see if she can get the Wasps a runner early in this inning. But she swings on pitch 1, grounded to third, over to first. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Yeah, and that ground out doesn't always look great, swinging at the first pitch. And some people teach not to swing at the first pitch. I'm actually a proponent of it because there's a lot of times where pitchers just want to get ahead. They want to fill it up and they want to get ahead early in the count. So sometimes that first pitch is the best pitch you see the entire at-bat.
Well, especially being after you've given up a couple of runs the inning before. You don't want to see that happen again. You don't want to get behind in the count. I like the aggressiveness. I think that's what the Wasps are going to do. And I think that's what kind of Coach Forrester believes, that if there's a pitch you can hit, you go after it. And so I like the aggression there. So ball 1 here to Daisy Jenkins. Actually catching for us this afternoon, and she lays off pitch number 2 for ball 2. The Wasps tend to run that 2-catcher situation with Jenkins oftentimes catching, I believe, for Braun most of the time.
Yeah, you get so accustomed and comfortable with your catcher. There's guys in the big leagues in the MLB that when they get traded, their catcher gets traded. So, that relationship is so unique and something that, especially if the catcher's calling their own game, that they're on the exact same wavelength, and something that's so important.
2-1 count, and that'll be strike 2. So Dacey is in a 2-2 count here with 1 out. She also hits it over to the third baseman, over to first, and that'll be out number 2. So that's going to bring up the left fielder, Kenzie Ingo.
Now batting the left fielder, number 2, Kenzie Ingo.
Ingo played a little bit of center field earlier this season, playing a little bit of left as well. She sees a strike go by her on pitch number 1. Swings on that one, driven deep, and that's going to be halfway up the wall. She's heading for 2. She's going to be standing up with a double, and the Wasps have something going here in the bottom part of the 5th.
And I think that ball, if there weren't multiple posts on that wall, it would have knocked the wall down. That thing was crushed. It hit that wall. You could hear from here. Smack that thing. So a great swing and a great hit for Kenzie Ingo.
That's the exit speed on that was one of the faster ones. You could see that ball get to the fence quickly, too, as now Anna Thomas comes up. Ball in the ground. Nice job to knock it down by the catcher for Roanoke, Kate Houle. But ball 1 to Anna Thomas.
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani broke the record in the MLB with 115 off the bat. I think that one was 116.
Of course it was. 2-0 the count. Ingo still standing on second base. Anna Thomas up at the plate. 2-0 count here with the Wasps trailing by 1 run. Swing and fouled back to even up the count. To move the count to 2-1. So big spot here for Thomas with a runner in scoring position. You got to believe any kind of base hit gets Ingo in at this point. She drives it to center field. That's going to be deep. Back off the wall. That'll score a run. Thomas heading towards second where she'll be standing up. Trades places with Ingo and ties up the score.
Well, last inning we go back-to-back home runs. This time we go back-to-back doubles off the wall. So a lot. Everyone's following the leader, and I like it here.
Well, Allie Stedman, I think she would take one of those right now herself. But that one, just like the other one too, was hit hard right off the bat. And you knew that one was going, and there was no chance that the center fielder for Roanoke College, Emma Eccles, had a chance of kind of catching that one.
Yeah, you see her, she almost got a little lost. She wasn't sure which way to turn. And as an outfielder, those balls that are hit right at you are sometimes the hardest ones to field because you're really not sure which way to turn. You're not sure if it's going to dip, if it's going to rise, if it's going to do whatever. So you just got to kind of sit, pick away, and just hope you guessed right.
Well, that was a little cut swing there, too, by Thomas. So it probably moved about 6 feet in the air. So it's kind of started just to our right of the pitcher. And that one you're right, that was what made it hard, is that the center fielder's trying to read that ball, and you turn one way and you see it move in the other. And also when it's coming off so fast, there's just really no chance for you to make a second adjustment.
Definitely. But, I mean, ball off the wall, that one's a tough one to catch. Regardless, you hit it off the wall, you're probably going to be safe.
Well, so Allie Stedman comes up now with the Wasps evened up at 4 with Roanoke here in game 2. Anna Thomas standing over there on second base. Ball in the dirt, so Allie will be ahead 1-0. But when you've seen 2 people hit back-to-back doubles like that, it has to be hard to be patient up at the bat.
Oh, you're gripping the bat, you're grinding at it, you're just ready to go. You're hoping that pitch can get to you even faster than it is.
2-0 the count right now, 2 outs And Stedman really, this is going to be the pitch she wants to see right here. 2-0, anything near, you're going to see her chopping at it here. We were talking about that aggression of the Wasp offense. And she didn't see the off-speed kind of coming there, so fooled her a little bit, so that'll be strike one.
And honestly, on a 2-0 count like that, that's a good thing. You know, spit on that off-speed. We want the fastball. We want something. We're already ahead of the count. Give me something I can hit. I don't need to ground out on a little curveball.
She gets that one, hits it to third base. Nice job cleaning it up over there. And that will be out number 3. But more importantly, the number that really matters this inning is the one that's put up on the scoreboard. So after 5, we are tied 4-4. Well, we move to the top of the 6th. It's going to be Shannon Hester. Fouls one deep down the left field line for strike 1. After the inning, I always have to remember to clear everything here. So it is the top of the 6th. There's no runners on. And the count is 0-1. Braun comes to the plate. Nice curveball, catches the corner for strike 2. So the full arsenal at her disposal here as she's ahead 0-2.
Yeah, definitely. Being able to throw that breaking pitch for a strike just opens up your bag of tricks because, normally fastballs early in the count, curveballs later in the count. But when you can throw that breaking pitch early for a strike, now the batter has no idea what's coming.
She went off speed and missed, goes low and misses again, so the count evens at 2. So this is where the battle takes place as the count is back even at 2-2. Expect Braun to kind of work the edge, goes up high, ground ball goes past Hyatt and out into the outfield. So that is likely to be an error. But that leads to a Roanoke base runner, so they get the top of the 6th started with a runner on first. Well, coming up, number 10, Rachel Serbal, the shortstop, has some opportunities here as she has the runner on first. High and outside, Braun misses for ball 1.
And in a close game like this, expect to see some manufactured runs. Expect to see some small ball. It's such a tight game that, every run counts, every base counts. So you could see some small ball. That's not small ball, though.
That's a big swing by Serbal, and she kind of came over the top of it and hits it out to left field. But I don't know that Ingo maybe had to move. She moved 2 steps, and then she went 2 steps back right where she was and makes the easy out. So that'll be out number 1 for the inning. And both teams are, not been it's not been foreign to them on dealing with the base runner early tie. We saw that quite a bit in game 1. And the Wasps were able to pitch around it most of the time, but they need to this time as they just worked hard to get back to even, as that ball is fouled down the left field line by Jordan DeFava, the batter for the Maroons.
Yeah, and I think that I believe the percentage of the lead runner getting on with no outs, it's 60-70%. So it's a real tough way to start an inning. But when you have mature players that can almost turn double plays, ball was thrown to second, but unable to get the second runner.
That was a bold move by Braun right there. I mean, had the easy out over there at first, but was wise enough to see that she might have a chance to turn two. And, sometimes pitchers aren't the best at throwing the bases, and that was a good toss over there by her. But the Wasps do pick up a second out. Runner stays on first base, and there's now 2 outs. You're about to make that 3, as that's a lazy fly ball out to left field, and Ingo catches it as a first swing pitch there by Michaela Austin ends the inning. So we head to the bottom part of the 6th. Emory Henry 4, Roanoke 4. Well, we move to the bottom of the 6th, and that music that I like to hear so much means that Alex Braun will be leading off the bottom of the 6th here for the Wasps. Of course, Alex got the home run party started for the Wasps.
A great swing and an even better walk-up.
I'd love to see her keep up the momentum here with another good swing. We've been seeing them all season long. She takes a big cut and misses for strike 1. I don't know if there's anything, whatever the greenest color of green is, but that's what I would give Alex Braun about any time this season. She holds back, checks it up. We'll go down the first, but that was no swing, so that'll be ball 1.
Yeah, I don't foresee Alex getting too many take signs. She might be the one on the team that has the green light at 3-0.
Well, she looks at a 1-1 right now. A little late there and fouls it down the left field line. Excuse me, a little early and down the left field line. So I'll run the count to 1-2. That off-speed pitch is hard to wait for it.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, especially if it's coming in at the same angle as that fastball.
And then she comes back with the fastball and is fouled into the dugout there, so it'll remain 1-2. So Shannon Hester coming in relief here, trying to pick up the win for Roanoke. 1-2 count here to Alex Braun. Braun drives it into center field. That ball's going to be scooped and caught, but dropped. It's going to be down, and Braun still keeps running, slides in the second, and she's got a double.
And great piece of two-strike hitting. Two-strike hitting shows just a mature hitter, someone who's not going to get rattled when they have 2 strikes. They're going to, still put a good swing on a good pitch. So a great piece of hitting there by Alex Braun.
And Emma Eccles, the defender for Roanoke, almost had that. Actually, she had it in her glove for almost a hot moment, but did not hold possession as she went down and drops the ball. And a nice job by the first base coach, Delp, to get Braun over there to second base as Silvas hits it right off the tip of the bat, and that goes to second base for out number 1. Well, the Kendall section comes back. So you got your 1 power hitter on second base in Alex Braun, 1 power hitter in the box in Kendall Varner. She looks at a strike at the knees on the outside. Ty, some strikes are better than others, and that's just that's not Kendall's pitch right there.
No, I mean, especially 0-0, you've got such a long at bat. You're not in a hole. You don't have to fight. You don't have to spoil. So that's one that you're like, okay, tip your cap, good pitch. You painted one on the outside corner. Now let's come get some.
She waited on that one, and ball 1 is the call there, just missing. So 1-1 the count. In the dirt, and that's going to be past the catcher, and Alex Braun will advance to third on the wild pitch.
In a game like this, a wild pitch like that is huge because now there's a runner who's 60 feet away with 1 out. So a sac fly, that takes the game right now. That's taking the lead. So and if that wild pitch could be huge.
And Hester doesn't also now want to bounce another one and let Braun come in. So 2-1, she's got to play a little defensive, goes up, and Varner gets under it, but will that be enough? Out to Eccles, and Braun's going to tag up, and she will score on the wild throw. So safely sliding in is Alex Braun, and the Wasps have their first lead of the afternoon as they pick up the run and now lead 5-4.
And that's softball. It's a game of one situation, one ball that got away from a catcher could be the game.
So that wild pitch does lead to the run coming through. So now with 2 outs, the second half of the Kendall part of our lineup, and Kendall Hyatt comes in. And that's going to be a called strike 1. And Kendall Hyatt's had a fairly good, successful offensive season this year. Has had some timely hits for us. And she gets one right there on cue as she singles up to center field. And the Wasps have something going with 2 outs.
I'm telling you, that voice is lucky. Can you please tell Emily Skaggs to hit a 5-run home run? That's what I'm here for. Only your voice could make it happen.
Well,
at this point.
Kendall Hyatt has been hitting the ball well this season, so it's not a surprise to see her find some grass out there. And Emily Skaggs will now step in with 2 outs here for the Wasps. She hits one out to right field. And that one's carrying, goes back to the wall, and a nice, unbelievable catch at the wall by number 9, Jordan DeFava. An over-the-shoulder catch likely saves a run, and Roanoke breathes deeply as they only give up 1, and they trail 5-4 heading in to the final inning. All right.
Go for it.
Well, we're heading into the top of the 7th. I'm Brent Treesh on the call with Ty Spires. Also want to say thank you to our director, Peyton Brooks, and Tierney Zisk, who's running our first base camera. We had a little bit of trouble there with the internet dropping us, but we got her back up and running. And I really, of course, want to say a big thanks to the crew here because it has been a challenge to figure out how to get these broadcasts on with the more remote location of the softball field, but we've worked hard through some trials and tribulations, and we appreciate the patience of everybody out there. But, these girls deserve it. They've worked hard some quality ball being played out here, and we want to make sure people at home can see it. So thanks for sticking with us. Still have several games to go in this season. Lots of big ball games still to be played, but happy to be here today. 72 degrees, sunny. What is this, man? This is a dream come true.
First off, Brent, I want to say you are welcome. Thank you for thanking me. But, yes, a great night for some softball. You know, not too breezy, just enough to take the heat off from the sun. And, you know, you can't ask for better than this.
I got my baby level of sunscreen on because I'm tender, and I want to make sure that the old skin doesn't get too carved up, and taking care of the old skin as we sit underneath here and call 2 games. But happy to be out here, and we'll see if the Wasps can hold on and pick up this win. So it will be number 16, Mary Bostic, leading off the top of the 7th for the Maroons, who are trying to manufacture some energy and see if they can rally here in the 7th. Braun comes high, misses again, so that'll be ball 2. So 2-0 is the count. And, of course, the Wasps know what the score is. They know how important this win is. And you can probably feel the pressure to not let this leadoff runner on. And they give her a gift right there as that ball is fouled, hit straight up in the air. And Allie Stedman has no problem there. But a 2-0 count, got to be grateful that she swung and dipped her shoulder on that one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one where if you're the hitter, you're wanting that swing back. But you talked about these, you know, the Wasps knowing the score. I mean, you look in these girls' faces, you don't see fear.
No.
You don't see them. You know, they're not crazy. You know, they're very composed. They look like they've been here before.
Yeah, well, when you look out in that field, you see a lot of experienced players, and also some of these freshmen that have really paid attention and they've learned quite a bit. And by this point of the season, they're starting to almost turn that into the not being a freshman and almost being more like a second-year player.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy Forrester has a great program here, and I know that they take bigs and littles in the program, so, you know, you have somebody that's older than you to kind of show you the way and be like, this is the Emory and Henry softball way. This is how we do it. Let's get it done.
Looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter. It's going to be number 17, Megan Evans. The junior comes in, and it's going to be a strike called there.
Yep, tried to hold up a little bit, but just not enough, and they checked it first. They called it a strike.
So 0-1, Braun ahead. Now she's ahead 0-2. So Evans finds herself quickly behind to Braun with 1 out here in the 7th. Nice pitch there by Braun going off speed and out. That is hard to see and hard to lay off, especially when you've been watching the games all afternoon. But stays off it, so 1-2 goes our count. She goes high that time, misses again.
Yeah, and changing to elevations is one of the hardest things for pitchers to lay off because if you go in one extreme, the other one looks nice. So a great eye by the batter here, but I'm sure Alex will come right back after her here.
So Megan Evans takes pitch number 5 high, so that'll be a 3-2 count now for Alex Braun. And a good piece of hitting right here by Megan Evans, being patient to get this count back full. Evans swings and fouls it back. So the count remains 3-2. Ty, how hard is it to come off the bench and pinch hit in a big moment like this?
Oh, I think it's the hardest thing in baseball or softball, because, you know, you try your best to pay attention all game and to, you know, watch the pitcher and watch what she's doing. But, you know, it's tough to sit for 6.5 and be asked to get hot in 5 minutes and go out there and have the best at-bat of your life almost.
Well, there's a lot of rally caps behind Megan Evans helping to cheer her on. And that's going to be called strike 3. Big pitch right there by Alex Braun. Low and inside. That's tough.
Tough indeed. And that's one that you just almost – it was such a great pitch. It caught a corner that you just got to tip your cap as much as it stings to do so.
Well, another pinch hitter is going to be Madeline Culkin, the sophomore from Weston, Connecticut. Steps in here now with 2 outs and needing to find her way on base to keep this game alive. And Alex Braun quickly jumps ahead with the strike.
This is a situation where you want all your fielders saying, hit it to me. I want the last out. I want it.
0-1 count here. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. And Braun again has the opportunity to throw multiple pitches here. We've seen her go off speed. We've seen her go inside and low. See where she goes this time. She goes inside and low and misses. So 1-2 goes the count. We'll see if she can blow her away going high and up.
Is that your prediction?
She goes high and up, but nice job by Culkin to lay off of it. So the count goes even at 2-2. I am the Tony Romo of Emory and Henry softball. Well, 2-2 is the count here. We'll see if Braun can finish this one. And she does with the strikeout. So a great job by Emory and Henry. After trailing 4-1, they come back to win 5-4. So the Wasps split with a really good Roanoke team. So obviously you want both wins tied, but you know, in a situation like this when you're playing a good ball club, split sometimes is what you have to take.
Yeah, I mean, obviously not the performance that they wanted in the first game, but they showed, you know, good teams are able to come back from losses like that and put together a good performance. They not only they come back from a loss, but they also came from behind in this game. You know, they're showing that they know they can win, and they know that they have the talent and the ability. So as long as they do their jobs and do what they can do, that more often than not, they'll come out on top.
And I'll tell you what, I won't be surprised when it comes ODAC playoff time that we don't see these two teams again, because these are two good ball clubs, pretty well evenly matched. And so after part one of this match in the 2021 season, they split 1-1. We'll see if they meet again. But at least for today, Emory and Henry splits with Roanoke College, winning game 2, 5-4. Thanks again to everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.